I'm creating this video for you as a way of giving you something that will hopefully help you to feel into this Rewilding for Women 2-day workshop. I want to chat a little bit about the workshop. I want to chat about what's possible in the workshop. And I want to talk a little bit about what other women are saying in the workshop. So my whole intention with this little video, this little conversation, isn't to convince you to do the Rewilding workshop. I will be the first person to say that Rewilding is not for everybody. Not everyone is at a place in their lives where they're ready to dive in deep into these parts of self, where they're even wanting to access and open to their full potential, or to kind of soul gifts or soul purposes, or open up to their bigger sexual, healthier, cleaner, purer, more potent sexual expression, or open to masculine and feminine, that divine dance, that union within, right? So I'm not doing this video as a way of selling you something. That is the last thing that I want to do. I'm doing it as an offering to give you something to feel into. So as you watch this short little clip, I'm going to try to keep it short. As you watch this, I invite you to access that deeper wisdom, access that intuition, access that knowing place, right? Not the conscious left brain mind where it gets all rational. It can convince you of one thing today and then it can change its mind and convince you of the next thing tomorrow. But that deeper place, that place of knowing, that place of feeling, that wow, I'm really called to come to this workshop. I'm really called to do this rewilding work, right? That's what this video is an invitation to, is to feel into that place, to feel into what I share. And if you start to get the goosebumps, or if you start to get that calling feeling, a lot of women will come to rewilding workshops for their first time and they will say, I don't know exactly why I'm here. I just knew I had to be here. And so that's kind of that non-logical, non-left brain, trusting the gut feeling. Okay, so enough about that. Let me chat a little bit about what this workshop is about, why we're doing this workshop. So this is actually our very first, and it will be our only workshop in the US for 2017. It's pretty exciting because this, as you can hear from my accent, you probably know that I'm from the States, but I've been living in Australia the last 7 years. So that's where Rewilding for Women launched. That's kind of the home base of Rewilding for Women. We've been running workshops for a little over 2 years now, and it's a deep dive. So we do everything from short little 3-hour events to 1-day workshops to 4-day retreats. And this one's kind of in between the 1-day and the 4-day retreat. It's a 2-day. And I'm doing it that way because we can go deeper, we can go further, we can open more, we can clear more, we can let more go, we can bring in more archetypal energies. So maybe let's chat a tiny little bit about that. In Rewilding, we work with 5 faces of the feminine. Now within those 5 faces of the feminine, there's a variety of archetypal patterns or goddess energies. Why do we want to work with these energies? Why would we want to work with archetypal energies and do these rewilding practices? Well, because it opens parts of self that we have not necessarily accessed before. It allows us to go beyond the mind, beyond just living in this part, and open up specific threads of Shakti. Right? So rewilding is very much about working with the divine feminine, very much about opening up to this body wisdom, the life force within, the Shakti. And when you work with these goddess energies or these archetypal patterns, they're all just threads of Shakti. So in rewilding, we work with some of the really, really, really potent ones, some of the Shaktis that have been extraordinarily locked down, or they're kinked from experiences in this life, from ancestral patterning. So we've got DNA half from mom, half from dad, and we are holding those energetics. We have the absolute opportunity to release those energetics, to clear out the lines, de-rubble as we call it, right? So I always look at these threads of Shakti, or this particular archetypal pattern or particular life force thread within us, and it's just got some rubbly bits on it, right? It could be rubbly bits from this life, rubbly bits from past lives, rubbly bits from ancestral lineages, rubbly bits from the collective, right? So when we do these rewilding practices, we are de-rubbling these lines. So we're opening up all of these different threads of Shakti so that we can open up to the fullness of our own life force energy, the fullness of those different threads of Shakti, the fullness of the divine feminine. Something that I do want to say here about rewilding that's a little bit different than a lot of the other goddess practices or goddess offerings out there is that we also very much work with the divine masculine. We always bring in the divine masculine when we do this work. So we cannot have the divine feminine without the divine masculine. So the magic here is that working with the divine masculine, working in those archetypal energies, opens up the feminine in ways that are much harder to do if just sitting in feminine energy. Now, I hope that makes sense to you. There are certain things that the divine masculine will unlock within us that the divine feminine just can't do. I know that might sound crazy to you, and you might just go, Sabrina, shove it. And that's okay. That's absolutely okay. But I'm trying to give you a feel for if this is something that sings to you or not. So we very much work with both the divine masculine and the divine feminine, not at all in any sort of religious way or any sort of particular tradition. You don't have to have any experience, none whatsoever. You don't even have to know how to meditate to come and do rewilding with us, right? It's the space that gets created. It's sacred women's circle. It's the way that women know how to work together. It's that potent, juicy way that women know how to sit in circle. And you don't need to know anything about that. That space gets created. That's my job, is to hold this container, is to take us through this journey. Your job is to simply open, 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 allow, go deeper, feel, that's the feminine. And what happens within that is your body wisdom, because that's exactly what we're working with here. Your body wisdom takes you to exactly where your soul is asking to go. Exactly to where the highest place for you to go in this moment is, right? So if that means that your body wisdom is taking you to a place to clear out some ancestral goo, that's exactly what will happen, is that ancestral goo will be released. That's part of the de-rubbling. Or maybe the highest place for you to go is an awakening, is an initiation into something, is one of those soul gifts opening, one of those more esoteric gifts starting to open. So that could also be where body wisdom takes you. And that's the beauty of this work, is that I don't know. You don't know oftentimes. Our minds have no idea. But when we start to access this Shakti, this body wisdom, this divine wisdom, it does the work for us. Our job is to simply trust. Our job is to allow, is to open, to go there. My job in this is to open the door for us, is to open the door to go there, is to give you every practice I've got, whether it be a shamanic, a tantric, an astrological, a goddess, an archetypal, an energetic healing, a meditative practice. We combine all of those different practices. And so my job is to combine these practices in a way that allows the most doors to open for you in the shortest amount of time. This is why I love retreats. And this is why I love 2-day workshops like this one, is because we can do so much. I can open so many doors for us. You can walk through so many different doors and through a lot of different practices, a lot of different angles. So everyone resonates differently with different archetypal energies. Everyone resonates differently with different practices. My job is to give you a lot of them so that you'll find what works for you in this workshop. Okay, that's enough. I've talked enough. If this is singing to you, if you're feeling it, I would say book in quickly. All of our workshops have filled with a waiting list. All of our retreats have filled with a waiting list. I have a sense that this one's not going to stay open for all that much longer. I don't know how many spaces. It's a small and intimate workshop. There's only 20 women in this workshop. This is the US that will be this intimate, this small, this kind of, there's a special magic to it. Okay, so if it's singing to you, I would love to rewild with you.